and when did you first meet him?
Okay. Well, I first met Mike because of this project. Yeah. And we'd agreed to meet here, and then I took my camera with me because I work a lot off photographs. I know how people are busy and you don't want to impose on their time. And Mike and I went down to the river just near the lighthouse down here and went down on the platform so we'd get down lower to the water level. And we had a bit of a chat and I was taking photos and he interrupted and he said, "Oh, I think there's a dolphin here." And I sort of smiled and I thought, yeah, sure there is, Mike. I'd been down here at the port many, many times and never seen a dolphin. Well, as it was, he said, "Have a look behind." So we had a look, and sure enough, there was a young dolphin, only about, what would you say, 2 or 3 metres away from us. So we watched that for a while. We finished that session, and I went home, had a look at the photos, sent him an email and said, "Look, we need to get together again, need a few more photos." He said, "Okay." We made a time, came down here. We went down to Garden Island, had a few photos there, came back again, and we were shooting in a similar area, and he said, "Oh, I think there's another dolphin." Yeah, and there was, really up close where we were. And I thought, this is very interesting. So on the third occasion that I came down here, we went across to the other side, to the Birkenhead Hotel there, and we were standing on, and this is where this photo was eventually taken, but we were standing on the shore there, and same thing. This time two dolphins came along, and they were playing just behind us, and I accused Mike then of having something in his pocket with which he calls them. He said, no, that's not it. He claims to be a very close observer, and I guess he is because he's been doing that particular sort of work for many, many years, and that's his love. And maybe there's something in dolphins and extrasensory perception and all that sort of thing. Who knows? I know the Americans were working on lots of that sort of research back before the Vietnam War.
Do you get the sense of something supernatural about Mike?
Not about Mike so much, but I can understand his love for the animals. They're wonderful looking mammals, and you can't help but think there's got to be more behind those eyes than there is with, say, an ordinary fish or something, you know.
And something more behind Mike's eyes than...
Definitely. I mean, there's a love of art there and a love of compassion for living things. Yeah.
How would you sum him up in
words? It's difficult too, because I don't know him well enough. I know he's concerned.
How much time do you spend with him?
Probably only about maybe 2-3 hours.
Really?
Yeah. I do a lot of my preliminary work behind the camera because I'll frame the pictures the way I want them, pose the subjects the way I want them. I know, for instance, that if I have some falling light going across the picture, I'm going to pick up shadows that are going to define the forms for me and that sort of thing. So I've been doing it long enough to have learned that.
Yeah.
And Mike was a very good subject, you know, in that he was very responsive. And
so you sort of know what you're looking for, but the expression that you paint into it comes really from the first impression?
It does to some extent, but it comes from a combination of things, because I don't paint blindly as such, and I don't put my impression across, hopefully. I let the subject determine to some extent what the painting's going to be, which photos we're going to use for reference, because one of my concerns is that I paint something that's respectful of the subject. I want to honour the person. I think there's too much art out there that's all about the artist, not about the subject, and I think it should be about the subject.
Fantastic. That's a beautiful job, and thank you very much.
Thank you.